Hi, my name is Danny. I'm here to share something that happened to me and my friends, Max and Chloe, last New Year's Eve. It's a story we promise to never forget, because it's something we'd never wish on anyone. The three of us had just rung in the new year at a party deep in the woods. The place belonged to a friend of Chloe's cousin, someone we didn't know well. It was one of those cabin-style places with dim lighting and creaky floors, the kind of setting that's perfect for ghost stories. We left the party around 1:30 a.m. Max had volunteered to drive, and Chloe, always the adventurous one, insisted we take the shortcut through Blackwood Trail. It was a narrow dirt road that cut through the densest part of the forest. Honestly, it was eerie even in the daytime, but at night, let's just say the mood felt ominous right from the start. It was a bitterly cold night, the kind that stings your face and makes your breath cloud around you. The woods were blanketed in snow, creating an otherworldly silence, broken only by the crunch of the car's tires. The road itself was clear, but the trees flanking us were heavy with frost, their branches sagging under the weight. The air inside the car felt tense, as if we all sensed something we couldn't name. As we drove, the sound of the car's tires crunching over gravel seemed unnaturally loud. The woods around us were pitch black, except for the weak beams of our headlights. The air felt heavy, like the forest was watching us. "Do you hear that?" Chloe asked, breaking the silence. Her voice was steady, but I could see her fidgeting with the zipper on her jacket. "Hear what?" Max replied, his eyes fixed on the road. "I don't know," she said, leaning forward. "It's like cracking wood, but closer. Too close." I strained to listen, and sure enough, there it was, a faint crackling noise, like twigs snapping underfoot. It made my skin crawl, though I tried to shake it off. "Probably just deer," I said, trying to sound casual. But my stomach churned. It didn't sound like deer. Chloe leaned closer to the window, her breath fogging up the glass. That's when it happened. Out of nowhere, a deer bolted across the road. Max slammed the brakes, and we skidded to a stop. But this wasn't just any deer. It stood there, right in front of the car, staring at us with eyes that seemed to burn. It didn't move, didn't flinch. Its stare wasn't natural. It was as if it was looking through us. For a moment, no one spoke. My chest felt tight, and I couldn't tear my eyes away. "What the?" Max muttered, his voice barely above a whisper. Chloe's breathing quickened. That's not right. That's not right." Her voice cracked, and for the first time, I saw real fear in her eyes. The deer held its gaze for what felt like an eternity, then ran into the woods with a suddenness that made us all stunned. Max exhaled sharply, gripping the steering wheel like his life depended on it. "You okay, Chloe?" he asked. But Chloe didn't answer. She was staring into the trees where the deer had gone. "Did you see that?" she whispered. "See what?" I asked, feeling my throat tighten. "There was something behind the deer," she said, "something tall, and it moved so fast." Max and I exchanged uneasy glances. "It's late, Chloe. Your mind's probably playing tricks on you," he said. "No," she insisted, her voice rising slightly. "I know what I saw." We started driving again, but the mood in the car had shifted. Every little sound, the wind rustling through the trees, the occasional hoot of an owl felt magnified. My palms were sweaty, and I kept glancing over my shoulder, though I couldn't explain why. Then the car jerked violently. Max cursed and brought us to a halt. "Fault tire," he said, after checking the dashboard. We all got out. The forest was deathly quiet, and the cold night air bit at my skin. Max opened the trunk to grab the spare tire, while Chloe and I turned on our phone flashlights. "Danny," Chloe said, her voice trembling. "Look over there." I turned to where her light was pointing and saw them. Footprints, but they weren't deer tracks. They were long, clawed impressions like something out of a horror movie, and they circled the car. "Max," I hissed, "we need to hurry." I'm going as fast as I can, he shot back, his hands fumbling with the jack. The AR felt thicker now, as if it was pressing against my chest. There was no wind, no sound, but an unshakable feeling of being watched. Chloe and I stood back to back, our flashlights darting around the tree line. My heart pounded in my chest. Suddenly, a low growl echoed from the trees. It was guttural and chilling, like nothing I'd ever heard before. Chloe grabbed my arm. What the hell was that? Before I could answer, the uneasiness peaked. The shadows in the woods seemed to shift, but no matter how hard I stared, I couldn't make out a clear shape. It felt like something was there, just beyond the edge of the light, watching, waiting. "Get in the car," Max yelled. We scrambled back inside, slamming the doors. Max floored it, driving on the flat tire. The car groaned and jolted as we sped down the road. The uneasy feeling didn't leave. I could still feel it, like a pair of unseen eyes boring into us. When we reached the main highway, Max pulled over, and we sat there in stunned silence, trying to catch our breath. "What the hell was that?" Chloe whispered, her voice shaky. "I don't know," Max said, his face pale. "But I'm never taking Blackwood Trail again." We got the tire fixed the next day and found deep scratches on the rear bumper. To this day, none of us can explain what happened. All I know is that we survived, and we're never going back there. So if you're ever in Blackwood Forest, especially on New Year's Eve, stay away from the trail. You might not be as lucky as we were.